What's up everyone, it's Mark from Silence Tech, and today, as you've probably gathered from the title of the video, I finally got my chance to review an RTX card. Nvidia's newest lineup replaces the 10 series, and if you haven't sold a kidney already to buy a 10 series, you might want to check out the Duke 2080 from MSI. On paper it seems well worth it, as you can quite happily survive with only one kidney, but truthfully, can you live without this bad boy? Probably not. Nvidia's newest Turing architecture has some neat features and could potentially shake up the way we all game on PC. They've added an extra set of 46 RT cores and 468 tensor cores into the 2080. Ray tracing will bring your puddles to life as well as any other surface that has reflections, but it comes at a serious cost to performance, so I'm not even sure if ray tracing will be viable to the 2080 unless you like gaming at a seriously low FPS. I'm holding judgment, of course. Ray tracing may be an awesome feature, only time will tell. Nvidia have brought AI and deep learning onto mainstream graphics cards with the 20 series lineup, thanks to these so-called tensor cores. While the card won't talk to you like Alexa or Siri, and I'm a little bit disappointed about that one, I must say, they do promise all Turing GPUs will be able to process anti-aliasing up to 8 times faster. I'm afraid none of these features are available or anywhere to be seen as of yet, so just remember when you go ahead and buy a 20 series graphics card, you're an early adopter, and there's no guarantee these features will even be available. It depends on the game developer on a game by game basis. Hopefully we will see some awesome RTX graphics in games like Battlefield 5 and the long-awaited update from Crystal Dynamics in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Anyway, let's get back to the MSI variant of the 2080 named the Duke, priced at a colossal $829.99 US dollars and 789 UK pounds. The RTX features better be a deciding factor if you're going to pick up this card, as instead you could just buy a 1080 Ti for less money, and right now they both perform around the same. Although the price difference between a 1080 Ti and a 2080 Duke right now are minimal, just $30 in the US, plus the current 2080 drivers are in their infancy, so there's a good chance the 2080 may pull ahead in performance numbers later on in its life cycle. Kind of a no-brainer to just jump on Turing right now. If we take a closer look at the Duke 2080, it uses 3 patented 14-blade Torx 2.0 fans to cool the heat sink, stretching the card out to 314mm long. You must measure your case before even considering picking one of these up. The 2080 Duke also takes up slightly more than 2 PCIe slots, but it's not very tall. In fact, it's the complete opposite in dimensions when you compare it to the MSI 1080 Ti Trio. The card's weight is a colossal 1.1 kilograms. Sag was minimal considering it weighs so much, but MSI have included a metal anti-sag bracket to help. The overall design I quite like. The backplate is a good compromise between cooling and looks. There's plenty of ventilation while it covers up the PCB nicely. On the side, I'm not so sure it's my preferred choice, mainly due to all the logos, although the Duke logo does have some really nice, cool RGB effects. To power this card, you're going to need to run a single 6-pin and 8-pin. Total rated TDP is 275 watts, 75 watts through the PCIe slot, and 150 watts potentially through each of the connectors, and I'd recommend at least a 650 watt PSU for this card. Both the 8-pin and 6-pin, like the reference design, are the wrong way up, so I've had to stretch my custom extension cables around the wrong way, leaving them looking a bit of a mess. Oh the horror, and you thought Halloween was over. For ports, this card has, which I'm extremely glad about, 3 DisplayPort 1.4s and a single HDMI port instead of 2 DisplayPorts and 2 HDMI ports we found on most 10 series cards, which left triple monitor gamers unable to connect up all 3 monitors via DisplayPort connections. And lastly, the card also has a single USB Type-C port. Moving on to my noise test, the Torx fans shut off completely under 56 degrees Celsius. Above that, when stress testing, this card is extremely quiet and it never hit above 71 degrees Celsius in my PC, and that was with a massive 175 MHz overclock to the boost and bass clocks. Anyway, without further delay, let's check out my benchmarks comparing the MSI Duke 2080 to most of the 10 series lineup. And I'll also have some 2080 Ti benchmarks coming up real soon, and every single card in these benchmarks are overclocked to the max. The 2080 Duke was pushing well over 2000 MHz on the memory and the core. So guys, rounding off this review, I believed before testing that the 2080 wasn't even going to be a consideration or on my radar since it performs so similar to the 1080 Ti. It's a very strange launch from Nvidia. People are speculating that Nvidia don't even actually want you to buy a 2080 series card because they have a huge backorder of 1080 Ti's due to the mining craze, hence the high prices. But clearly that's because of the RTX features, which we've yet to even see. While personally I don't believe that, I do believe that the 1080 Ti prices haven't come down because of the backorder, and partners are still promoting the 1080 Ti now, which is strange to see. Either way, prices are starting to level out, and the Duke 2080 during my testing has been a solid card overall. If the prices remain the same as a 1080 Ti, then sure, with the up and coming features, I can highly recommend this card. Anyway peeps, that's it. I really hope you've enjoyed the review. I didn't have the card for as long as I would have liked, so I didn't get to shoot much epic B-roll. Anyway, my name's Mark from Silence Tech, and as always, goodbye.